Hi, this is Wendy from Scrapsupply, and it's time to start crafting for Christmas. Today we're making a Snowman Countdown to Christmas piece, and he's made from chipboard, he's inexpensive, and he's very quick to make. You're going to love it. This is the Snowman chipboard that comes from Scrapsupply. It has a base, and the chipboard snowman measures about 8 inches tall. I spray painted mine white just to make it a fast project. When you're ready to set up your snowman, the base just slides in and stands up very sturdily. For his scarf, I used a ribbon. You can use any ribbon, and to make a scarf-like look, just cut some snips into the end of each piece of your ribbon to make more of a frayed scarf edge. These are the hooks that come from 3M. They're meant to hang on your wall for a variety of reasons. I bought the clear small ones, and instead of the adhesive foam that comes with the hooks, I'm using E6000 adhesive. It's a very strong adhesive that will make sure these don't ever come off. And I use the ruler to help placement, just to make sure they're even. We also sell a chipboard tree shape that's made with a base just like the snowman, so either of those chipboard shapes would work for this Countdown to Christmas project. For the snowman's arms, I needed some sort of a stick, and I had these Maya Road chipboard trees from a box that comes with, dozens of pieces, so I just trimmed off some of the branches until it looked the way I wanted it to look. If you have some bumpy edges, you can sand them with sandpaper or an emery file board or your basic gray file to get it smooth. And this is a tool that I use all the time, and I wanted to show that here. It's called a dauber, and it's made by Judykins, and I use one for each different category of ink color. You just dab it into your ink pad and brush it either over the edge of cardstock, photos, paper, or as in this case, chipboard, and it does a great job of ink placement. You can get a more shady look instead of a hard, you know how sometimes when you ink the edge of your paper you'll get the shape of the ink pad accidentally? This prevents that problem, and see how nice and defined I got it? I wanted my chipboard darker, but I didn't want to paint it, so I just pressed it into the ink pad. I like that, rough, distressed look that it gave it, but I did add a little bit more ink with my dauber. And be sure to ink up and distress both sides of your chipboard arms on your snowman. Now for the tags, I have a tag punch that I wanted to use. You could also use your Make a Memory slice machine, or you can buy tags like the Creative Imaginations tags. And here's a tip, just take one tag and get it punched just perfectly, and then use it like a stencil. Stack up 3 or 4 tags and punch them all at once using that top hole to line up your hole punch. And the paper I used to punch my tags is from American Crafts Baby. I think it's Muffin Man or something. It's blue with white polka dots. And I have a blue ink dauber, and I'm just using a blue ink from Ranger, and I'm just brushing on a little shading. And what I'm going to use next is from Glimmer Mist, from Tattered Angels. It's Glimmer Mist, and I'm just going to shake it up. It has a metallic shine in it, and see, when you don't see any more of the metallic at the bottom, then you know you shook it enough, and you just spritz it over the cardstock, and it adds a beautiful shimmer. When it's dry, you have to wait till it dries to use them. And here's another good tip, the slice machine. I used it to make a sign that my snowman holds, and it says Countdown to Christmas. I printed it on white basil cardstock, and the first thing I did was to print it out using Microsoft Word, and then I wanted to get the placement of the machine just right. So the first thing I did was I cut the shape that I wanted out of white paper, And when I laid the paper down the first time, I lined it up on the grid in an exact place, and I lined the machine up in an exact place. The second time I want to cut the actual printed sign, so I lay the paper down in its original placement and I slide my printed cardstock underneath to put it exactly where I would like it to cut. And then I lay the machine down along the same grid lines that I used the first time. As long as you put things down on those same lines that you used the first time, this works for every shape, every placement, and you can keep that white piece of paper that I used, you can keep that as a stencil or a template for another time that I might want to use this. Just write down on it what design cartridge, what size it was. And you can see it cut perfectly, exactly where I wanted it to cut. To attach the sign, I'm going to put a brad in each end and use a white ribbon and tie it from brad to brad, so it's going to hang off the snowman's arm. So here he is with his scarf on. Just tie a double knot and fiddle with it till it looks right. And here I've glued his arms on using E6000 adhesive, and there's where the brads and the ribbon are and how he hangs, and I use pop dots to attach him to the snowman's body. So he's very sturdy now. The tags are dry from the glimmer mist, but they curled up. They're very easy to straighten back out. Just run your fingers over them. But if you're doing this project overnight, you can lay them under a heavy object to flatten them like that. And to decorate my tags, I used a postage stamp punch. You obviously don't have to do this. It's all about, choices and options. Here's another little tip. I use my paper piercer when I'm handling small items that I want to glue down. I applied the adhesive first, and then I just stuck it to my paper piercer and used it as a tool for placement. It also worked when I did these little numbers for my tags. Now my numbers I used cutting the Noteworthy cartridge on my slice machine, but you can use rub-ons, stickers, you can stamp it, or you can even just print these with your computer and printer and trim out the tags after you print them. There's so many different ways you can get this project done, so don't tie yourself down to the exact way that I did mine. Our snowman's starting to come together, and I wanted to make sure that the weight of the items doesn't affect the snowman, and they don't. Now my sign for Countdown to Christmas, Days Until Christmas, it's a PDF file that you can access at scrapsupply.com in our free category. Just print it out on a color inkjet printer, and if you don't have a slice machine or the Noteworthy cartridge, you can cut it out in any shape you like. The hat is also on that same PDF. You're going to need to print it out and then trace it onto black cardstock and cut it out from there. Now for my hat, I used Raven Basil cardstock, and then I just added a piece of black grosgrain ribbon on top of it just to add some more texture and a nice touch. I thought it really looked good against the cardstock. I used E6000 adhesive on both the hat and the arms and anything, and the hooks, because E6000, while it's not good for scrapbooking, it's really good for any project other than that. This is a black marker. You want to make sure you use something that's not going to smear, and I just put some little black dots for the mouth in a half circle shape, and then I made two ovals kind of close together for his eyes, and then I took a white marker, this is a Signo Uniball, and I put a white dot in each eye on the left upper area pointing in the same direction. I put some pink chalk on a Q-tip, and I'm rubbing pink circles for his cheeks. And this is another dauber. I'm using blue ink like I did with the tags, but I'm brushing it on the snowman's body to add shading. And I think I chose blue because I just thought it made him look kind of cold. The carrot nose I cut from orange cardstock, and I just freehanded it. It's just a small little sliver of a triangle, and you can see I'm using the paper piercer again for exact placement of my small item. It really was a quick project. The longest part was just getting the snowman spray painted. And here he is on display, counting down the days to Christmas. Thanks. Have a great day. I hope you enjoyed today's project. The items used in this project are available for sale online at our website, www.scrapsupply.com.